Hello there. We got part 3 of 4 today of the 4-part series it turned into because I made way too many cute, crazy carrot DIYs as if in one video. I'm Whitney with Crafty Thoughts and Whatnots. Let's jump into the craft room. So we're going to start out with our first DIY. We're going to take these color your own ornaments. Now you can tell by the labeling if you're a Dollar Tree nut such as myself. I bought these a few years ago, but they have them every year. These little carrot cutouts. You get 8. We're going to use 6 because I want to layer them. So I want them to be thicker. They're a bit too thin on for my preference. I want this to have some, I want it to be cute little, I want it to be different. So I'm going to glue 3 of these together. This is the Dollar Tree wood glue. It's a very good wood glue. It's right up there with the Tight Bond in my opinion. And I'm going to glue these together. Now, because these are Dollar Tree items, they're not always exactly plumb or flat. So there's a couple pieces that are a little off. You can see here, this one's a little warped. So I just want to make sure that it fits perfectly together. Now, I did have to go through a couple packs to find ones that weren't warped, but I've had these for some time. So just, be mindful of that. They might not all fit together, but I use these little clamps here and you see the difference between the thickness of 3 and the thickness of 1. This is going to stand up off of our project more. It's going to be, it's what I want basically because I wanted it. So I'm going to set those off to the side, let the wood dry. Now we're going to take these Dollar Tree staples everyone knows so well, the wood pallets, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stain them with my favorite, well it is perfect, but with my favorite wood tint. It's a Folk Art Home Decor wood tint in the color Walnut. I get this off my Amazon shop. If you want to take a peek at any of the stuff that I'm using when I say it's from Amazon, you can see that there's a link in the description as well as the first pinned comment below to my Amazon shop to show you those things. I do get a incentive. I get a small incentive off of all of that. So if you want to make a purchase and help me out at all, every little bit counts. Trust me, I love all of it. I love the fact that you're just here. That's more than enough. But I do get a little bit of a kickback if you take a peek at Amazon. So if you want to, you should do so. Now, I've been using this walnut wood tint for ages, since I bought it probably a couple years ago, and my Waverly wax is not used anymore. Number one, because this is not a wax. I can glue on top of this. I can put a transfer on top of it. And it gives me a very beautiful color. I love the way it looks once it dries. Now for the wood palette here, it doesn't take much. It does soak in the wood tint pretty quickly. And to get the even coat, you can then just kind of, as you apply it in sections, just go ahead and wipe it off. Unless you want a very dark color, then you go. Now this is darker than it will be when it dries, you'll see. But I also did want to make sure I got every piece here. So I had to put my little, I was about to say toothbrush. Do not use your toothbrush, guys. Use a regular paintbrush, okay? I put my paintbrush in the, in the creases and the crevices to get those things covered. Then I'll set those girls to the side and let them dry. Now we're going back to our carrots. Since our carrots are now dry, do you see the thickness I got on that? That's what's making me happy. These are very nice, good size. It gives you that good high quality feel to it. So I'm taking some scrapbook paper here. Now if you're seen my other 2 videos, we use this same color on the top of the denim carrot that we did in our first video, and I'm just liking this because it's a lighter stock, or it's not as thick or heavy as a cardstock, but it does still have a cute little it has a texture to it. It's a textured cardstock, but it's not a very heavy cardstock, let's put it that way. So I'm going to use my adhesive here that I got that big adhesive gun off of Amazon. I love it. I do not run out of adhesive at all anymore. Trust me, when I was using the little glue runners, those glue runners would run out probably in 1 or 2 projects. So now I'm not going to run out. Trust me, I won't run out for a while. Now I'm going to take some of that, put it on the actual carrot itself, and then you've already saw me, I cut out pieces of the scrapbook paper to apply to the top of the carrot. And with the combination of the X-Acto knife, we're going to use, here we go. Words escape me. I need to see what I did because obviously I can't remember apparently. Finger sanders, sanding paper, sanding block, and here I moved on to a fingernail file. Now these are harder, rougher grit fingernail files you'd use for like acrylic nails. I got a decent pack of them off of Amazon for this specific. These are craft room ones. I do not use these on my nails, guys. Now I don't even have acrylic nails. I have Gel X nails, so these are not used on my own nails, just so you know. These are for craft purposes only, and I did buy a big pack of them, which you'll also see in my Amazon store if you want to take a peek. It's a very good grit. It's a high grit, so it takes off a lot of the good rougher stuff. Now again, this isn't a thick cardstock, but it did take a little bit of elbow grease to get it off there. And of course we got we got we have more detailed curves, and it's a smaller piece that we're doing, so it is going to take a little bit more time. And then of course I had some pieces stuck in the little crevices there, so I just used my X-Acto knife. But then look at this cute, look at that edge. You get a very clean edge on it, and it makes me so happy. So I did the greenery tops first. Now we're going to put the bottoms of the carrots on. You can see on the top right, or to the right of the page here, I'm going to use this orange piece that came from some random book that I've had since dirt was invented. I've had the same scrapbook supplies for years, guys. There's just no way I could possibly tell you. If you're one of those ones that ask me, I need your project list, I need to know where you got everything, it's just not going to be possible to identically copy every little piece. But you can get very, 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 very close if you just go to any scrapbook section. And such as this one, I can tell you for sure, I got that buffalo check at Hobby Lobby. And that is probably something that's a staple in every scrapbook or every scrapbook section of every craft store you're going to find. You can find buffalo check anywhere. It's very popular still. At least in my heart it is. Now I put buffalo check on one carrot because I wanted to be different, and I wanted to be farmhouse, and I wanted to be cute, and my heart has buffalo check all over it. And then also now we got the classic orange. But you don't even have to go with this. You could do a floral paper. You could even do something cute with like maybe, American flag to keep it out towards Memorial Day or 4th of July. These things are meant for spring and Easter, but these things can also be applied to just happiness and summertime and bright colors. And if it's what makes you happy, it makes you smile, then leave it out year round. Because again, if you've been with me for any amount of time, or if you're new here, I should let you know, you're talking with someone who leaves pumpkins out in her house year round. You would love my house though. It looks normal. It's okay. Trust me. Now we're going back to Amazon shop for my distressed ink I like to use here. This is Tim Holtz distressed ink in the color Vintage Photo. Vintage Photo is my favorite color to use for distressing. It gives you the perfect little like burnt edge, but not burnt, but brown, but distressed, but farmhouse, if all that makes sense. Put that all in one little descriptive goodness. So you see here around the edges of all the paper, we're going to be putting some twine around the center there to cover up that, the transition between the top of the carrot and the bottom. But I love the way that the Vintage Photo looks on here. Now I do have another one that's darker called Ground Espresso, also great. And you saw me use that in the last video on the carrot tag, but on this one, I wanted to just do my lighter brown, and I love the way this looks. I think this is what gives you just that little bit of depth or what texture, shadowing. I don't know what it is. Insert proper terminology here. This equals makes Whitney happy. She's so cute. Now, these little dauber things I also got off Amazon in my Amazon shop. I basically wanted that holder that they were in, but the daubers are very inexpensive. You can get them in big packs, but they make it very easy to put that ink around the edges. Now, I'm going to take this twine here. This is a natural color and jute color twine. I believe I got this. Yeah, this is a Dollar Tree twine that I got some time ago. It's just like little cellophane packed up thing in the craft aisle. And I'm going to twist it around the top of the carrot about 2 times. And I'm going to leave the tails long. So the parts that you would normally cut off after you glue this down. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to leave the appearance of, because we're going to put a bow on top, right? I'm letting you know, we're going to put a bow on top. We're going to do a finger bow. And what I want to do is I want it to be, now the finger bows, you're only going to have 1 tail. But since I'm going to do a double bow with 4 loops, 2 loops on each side, we need, in my opinion, it looks great if I leave extra tails. So this is a set of tails that we're going to basically, behind the scenes, we're going to hack it and make it look like it's part of the bow. So you saw how I wrapped that around, left the tails, and now I'm going to make a finger bow. So this is a double loop finger bow, and I have a separate tutorial linked in my description below if you want to take a peek at it. It's a 5-minute video, goes into detail, slows it down. Practice makes perfect. It will get easy. And I'm going to put this on top of what we put on top of the carrot here. Now I can tell you one thing. I love doing finger bows with jute twines and cords and anything that's like, I guess the best way I can describe it is rope shape. Look how cute that is. It's like a classic bow shape. I love finger bows. There's just no other way to get around it. I can't tie a bow that cute with shoelace kind of style. This is just, I love it. Look how cute. Look, the impact is perfect. It's perfect. So cute. I want to squeeze it. That's a cuteness aggression right there. Look how cute a little carrot is. So cute. Now, what I was saying is the twine itself for me, I've noticed in the last, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months, I've been tying finger bows more easily with twine or not ribbon, but anything that's, this is baker's twine or jute twine, anything that's like a small little thin cording or twine. It's very easy to do that as opposed to a thicker ribbon. So maybe that could also be a good pointer to start with one of, just keep some jute twine on you in your pocket and practice with that, and then move into some of the thicker ribbons 5/8 inch or 1 inch ribbon. It will get more difficult the thicker the ribbon you use, but once you get used to it, you'll see it becomes second nature. And I still have to retie them constantly from time to time because it has to be perfect. So in any event, once you get your ribbons on, once you get your bows on, we're ready to move back to our palettes. So obviously our wood tint here has dried. Now you can see some splotches here. That's nothing that we can help. We can't sand it off. That's where Dollar Tree's construction department left their own adhesives that just don't stain. So look past that with farmhouse distressed happiness in your eyes because there's just no way around it. I love the way these look regardless if they had little splotches all over them. I'd find a way to make it work. Now this ribbon here I got from craftoutlet.com so long ago that it probably doesn't even exist. So find something cute. I think the rickrack design in here is very springy. It's very cute. Now, I cut a little bit longer than what I needed so I could fold over one edge so that once we glue this onto itself on the back of the palette, we have a nice, clean, finished looking, dealy-do going here. We have a nice project it looks nice. I'm not going to cover the back in paper, so I want it to look as nice as possible. I don't want to say I want retail shelf quality, even though I kind of do, but I still want it to say, yes, this is handmade from someone. This is, handmade from the heart. And you can tell when something is handmade and when it's basically mass produced. I'm not going for a mass produced look. I'm going for just a neat handmade happiness. We'll do that. I'm giving everything its own, its own titles. Like this is Morning Mist. Now, I added a staple here too, kind of a little bit of overkill. Then I'm using the world's cutest little mini hammer to tap that down in there. But so we've got glue and staples, and that ribbon is not coming off. So I did that to both palettes. Now, if you see here, I've moved on to my cute little hoarding abilities. Now to show you, it's okay to save things forever and ever. I have this cute little Tupperware here, and this is all the goodies I've taken off of like Dollar Tree products and different little, who's its and what's its galore. You know what I'm saying? A thingamabob. I've got 20. But I save them all, and I'm using them. So these sawtooth hangers, you can, if you don't have any, if you don't save things like I do, I'm pretty sure you do because, you wouldn't be here and you wouldn't be part of my family if you didn't save everything like I do. I used to tape them all together so I could tape the screws to the yeah, that was a nightmare. So anyways, I throw it all in this little Tupperware. But you can get sawtooth hangers anywhere. This is what that's called. It's called a sawtooth hanger. You can get them in the picture hanging aisle at craft stores. You can get them at any hardware store, Amazon, you name it. So that way it gives you the ability to hang it if you want to. I make things with the purpose or the foresight that I would use it in a tier tray or as a shelf setter leaning up against something in a vignette. But you do have the option to hang these maybe vertically above themselves somewhere. At that point, I would then want 3 of them because I like odd numbers. But regardless, this gives you the option. It also looks nice too. So now we're going to glue our beautiful little carrot girls onto the palettes. And what we're going to do is I'm concentrating on making sure that I'm putting the glue on the portions of the carrot that are going to touch our palette. We do have another medium to glue to that will help us here, which is the ribbon. So the ribbon is secured, the carrot is secured. And again, nothing has been waxed or anything like that. So hot glue is a perfect medium to go ahead and glue these things together. Look how cute that is. So after I got the orange one on, I'm going to put them next to each other so I can make sure I get my lining straight. This isn't like 100%, don't stress about it. If they're a little bit off, it's fine. Half the time, unless you literally are sitting them side by side like this, straight up and down, which I wouldn't. I put things at diagonals and different heights and all kinds of things. I would set one on its side or kind of crooked a little bit anyways, but this is just to line it up to make sure that when I put my second carrot down, they're about even, and we have two cute little bookend, almost little thingies. And I had to put a button in there. I will say that I only put 1 button on each, so I'm very proud of myself because the last 2 videos have been a little button heavy. And again, that's probably not even a thing, but tell me, do you like the buttons? Would you have added more? Because it was really hard to not put more buttons on there. I wanted to put a little green button in the top right corner and then put like another 2 buttons somewhere down on the bottom left, little diagonal off to the side, tuck it in on the corner. I have a button issue. I love buttons, but I think they're cute. So what do you think about these? I think these girls turned out so pretty. They're so pretty. The thickness of gluing 3 together. So we had to use 6 of them, but I think it gives it that little bit extra. It's a little extra, like the guacamole. It's a little bit extra. I love them. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me what you think. Oh, so cute. I think it's also that ink around the edges, the distressing is what's doing it for me too. Okay, guys, I have a coffee page. If you're not familiar with it, that's also the best place to go to take a peek at all my goodies I have for sale, as well as throw a donation if you want to. Not required, always appreciated. And I love you no matter what. Now, Our second DIY for the video here, we're going to take these carrots. I got these at Dollar Tree. Again, you can tell by the packaging. It's been a few years. I'm just taking some styrofoam carrots. These come 2 to a pack, but I do not like these colors. I don't like the bright yellowy orange, and I don't like the little grassy stuff on the top of it. Not horrible, but for what I'm looking for, I just don't like it. Not knocking it. If you like it, by all means, keep it. Me personally, I do not like this. So what I'm going to do is just cover them in whatever kind of stuff I can find. For this first carrot, I have some, I think this is wool. It really doesn't matter what it's made out of. It's yarn from my yarn stash because I'm a crocheter. And I like the colors. It's a color changing. It does gradiently go from a gray to a light taupe. And then I believe there's just like a light plumish purple to it at one point. But I don't even know if you can see that in the carrot. I have to sit here and watch me do this. But what I did was I tied a knot in the very end of it. And I glued that to the very top into where the greenery is poking out at. And then I take it and depending on how, whatever medium you're using to cover your carrot, if you're covering your carrot, you're going to need to see, use your own judgment, how much glue you need to use. This is a thicker yarn, so it covers up a lot more, surface area or real estate as I'm tying it. So at some point, I didn't even really need to use glue. I did it at the very top because we had, shape changes, and I didn't want the yarn to fall down or, get loose at one point and, it shows gaps and stuff. Now, when we're done with all these carrots, we're going to be gluing them together on their sides and then gluing them on top of a picture. So to each their own, you're not really going to have to worry too much about any of this shifting or being handled too much because we're going to be covering it and it will be glued to other things. Now, at some point you'll see here, I'm not going for a neat, tidy, coverage either. I'm wrapping it around in circles. And then if there's a gap or a space where that orange is poking out, that's actually why I didn't want to paint them either. I wanted to see if I missed a spot or something like that, I could go back and wind back up and then come back down some more and then go wind back up. So it gives a texture, it gives a feel. I did have to pay attention to make sure I didn't make it like too lumpy in one or two spots. And so there was some unwrapping to do and some rewrapping, but at the end you basically will get the feel for it. And again, this is a thicker yarn, so I didn't have to use as much. The next two ones that we're going to do, I'm going to show you briefly because it's basically the exact same technique. One of them is a scrubby yarn that you would use to make like not face scrubbies, like washcloths out of. It's very thin. And then the other one I use the baker's twine that we just used to tie bows on the last one. So they are thinner and you do need to use more of them. So then also you could cut the stick off, but I used it as a medium to tie, to glue my yarn to so it wouldn't come off the end. So I cut the rest of that dowel off at the end and then pushed it into the carrot a little bit, but it's already glued in, so we're good to go. Now, I didn't have the footage of me pulling this out, but I will show you of me taking out the greenery on the next carrot. So for this one, I'm just going to show you how I fill it in. This cute little greenery bush I got at Michael's just recently with their spring stuff this year. And I think it kind of looks like a carrot. It's honestly, we're making things to make us happy, right? So if you're one of those people who is a stickler on it must be accurate, then by all means, I love you for every little detail that you possibly can stick in your mind and keep there. But I'm not going to search for hours and days to look for something that's like, this is realistically what comes out of the top of a carrot. It's greenery. It's cute. It makes me happy. It's kind of the same. What I did was I just pulled these pieces off and I cut them off of their actual bushes and then off of their stems. And I just used hot glue and glued them into the top of the carrot onto the yarn. The piece with the little whites on it, the white piece, the hard piece, that one I did stick into the styrofoam of it. Now here's where I'm showing you. This next carrot is made out of that scrubby type. It's a red heart yarn. It's called scrubby because you can use it for like making washcloths or dishcloths, and it's supposed to be like an exfoliator for your skin or a cleaner upper for your dishes, that type of deal. Now you see how thin this is. This took a little bit more time. You can put on a TV show, but you really can't watch it because, something in the background to listen to, music or whatever you want to do. Or, hey, could play my videos in the background and let me gibber in your ear while you cover your carrots in the thinnest possible yarn you can find. That's always a great option. So I'm here for you. I'm here for you to keep you company. Many of you keep me company. You have no idea how much you guys are my fuel. I love it. By the way, thank you for being here. Hugs, hugs, hugs. Now, as you see here, I'm running it down. Now, again, I am not trying to be exactly 100% neat and tidy, but do with it what you want. If you see something popping through, then I wrap back upwards and then I wrap back down. Now, here's me taking this out. It does not pull out easy. If you even have these in your stash, which I think I have another package, so I think I have another 3. It doesn't come out as good as I'd want it to. So I just used, as you can see, brute force and, whatever. I literally was taking those pliers and just gutting the inside of this carrot. It's styrofoam. So at some point you'd think that the greenery would stop coming out. No, it didn't. So I just stopped here. And we're going to do the same thing. So I cut more greenery off of our little Michael's bush. Now these ones I left on the wire piece, and I'm going to stick that in there with the greenery. Or sorry, I'm going to stick that in there with the hot glue with its the wire piece that goes down into the styrofoam. The leaves you see here, I have cut them directly off. So there is no wire. There's not even a plastic stem. The glue does melt this particular type of greenery. So you're going to have a little bit of it moving around on you. This happened in the same, this also happened in the last video, my part 2. It will move around because it's going to melt that plastic. So if you got a really high temp glue gun, just kind of let it cool off a little bit before you stick your greenery in here. But you'll see here, I'm kind of like moving it all around. It still moves. Once it solidifies and cools off, you'll be fine. It won't go anywhere. So then I'm just going to, after it does that, we've gotten the glue hardened. I'm going to add a couple more little like supporting pieces here and then just kind of tuck them down in for whatever. It just started to melt all the little plastic again. And after that, you're fine. So then you've got your little carrot there. Now we got 2 carrots. Okay. 3rd carrot. She's so cute. I'm going to use that baker's twine that we used in the last video, or in basically our last couple of videos. We've been making a lot of twine bows. Okay. If you remember, if you've been with me, we've been making a lot of finger bows out of this. I love this baker's twine. It's very, very cute. I like baker's twine in general. Every color possible, I want it. I want to have it because it's and sometimes there's certain baker's twine that's like a lot thinner than others, and then others that's thicker. See right there was a good opportunity. If you want to see right there, you can see the yellow poking through. So I'm kind of going back upwards on something that I have already wrapped, but I'm wrapping it back up. So again, I did need to make sure I wasn't wrapping it too much in one area and then it was getting very bulky. So it'd be like a lumpy carrot. I still want the carrot to be somewhat unrealistically uniform, because this is what all carrots look like. Must be uniform, must be perfect. Never happened. I love imperfections. I love mistakes. I love broken things, damaged things, rusted things. I love all that stuff. So remember, put a little bit of something wrong with it and it's beautiful. Now, this is the little decor piece I got. I've had these also for a while. I mean, I'm stash busting here, guys. So just find something that is a good size for your background. Now, I'm going to take the hanger off of this guy because it was, Dollar Tree intended me to use it horizontally, but I said, no, I want it this way. So I'm going to take my little sander. I'm going to get rid of these little staple holes. That's not that big of a deal, but little tiny details that I think are important. I'm going to take that Dollar Tree hanger and I'm going to put it back at the top where I want it to be. So take it off the left. Put it back up at the top. I'm going to use my staple gun. Just plug a staple in on each side. And then we are going to cut back to the world's cutest little mini hammer. And I can't remember where I got it. I'm pretty sure I got that little mini hammer at Dollar Tree. It's so tiny. Look how cute it is. It's like the cute little hammer. Anyways, I love mini things. So I also have a mini crowbar. And I'm pretty sure, like that matters. I got a crowbar, guys. Guess what? I got a crowbar. I got that at Dollar Tree too. Not that we're going to use it for anything. For prying open windows in the craft room. Anyways, back to self-entertained, sorry. Distracted, saw something shiny. So I have this grosgrain ribbon. This is like 1.5 inch. My buddy, one of my best buddies, she lives in Maryland next to a ribbon factory and I'm jealous of her. So she sent me all this great, good, 50-yard rolls of stuff that I will never need more of, but I could not be happier. So I'm using this really pretty orange. This is grosgrain. This is what that means. I'm pretty sure this is grosgrain. It's got a nice lined texture to it. So I'm cutting enough of this because we're going to make this we're going to put a belt on the carrots. So we have the carrots will be attached to our little sign here like they were tied in a cute little bow. So I glued all the carrots. I glued the ribbon to the back in the 3 stages. We're going to cover it. So if your glue seeps through the ribbon, don't worry about it because that happens a lot with hot glue and ribbons. You'll see through it. So you can still see some of that back there. You see where I put the hot glue down. That doesn't matter because we're going to cover it with the carrot. Now, getting these guys even. It's kind of hit and miss. You don't have to worry too much about it because, again, we covered them with some thicker yarns and, twines and and mediums here that they're not 100% tapered, but they are still tapered. So here what I'm doing is I'm getting the tops of the greenery to, sit in the direction that makes my eyes happy. And then I'm going to commit and glue each one of those carrots down to each side. I don't believe you see it here in the footage, but once this is down and I have them next to each other where I want them, I do go back in and kind of push them apart just a little bit and put a line of glue along the inside of each carrot. That middle carrot has glue on either side, so the outside carrots are sticking to each other. So all 3 of these are glued together. on top of the fact that we are going to then take our ribbon and use our ribbon to secure the top of it down. Now here I was a little like confused, like how am I going to do this? So at first I tried to tie it, but it was a little bit too uneven. So what I did was I pulled this down. I was like, well, maybe I can just wrap it around and make it look solid with the bow in the middle. But what happened was, as you see here, as I'm pinching this together, this outside tail kind of just sat there and it stuck out in a way that looked a little, the one right there, that one, that looks like, if I put a little diagonal on it, that'd be cute. So I untucked the other piece right there on the left. And I was like, okay, I need to secure this somehow. So I got one of my clamps out, and then I went to my craft stash and I got one of these little tiny zip ties. This is like a 3-inch zip tie. You could also use wire or twine or anything else. Just, you know, you have something to clamp it. You can then hold it and then tie something tight. You just need to secure this in the middle somehow. So with all of the fluffing and fussing and messing around with this, I was pulling this tighter and then trying to get these tails down. I eventually turned to hot glue as my best buddy to basically force it into its new home, because the tail on the right would not go down. It wanted to keep going out. So that's not making me happy. So I wanted it to go somewhere else. So I took my little needle nose pliers and I was moving the sharp part. Once we cut that off, we're going to cut the diagonals in the ribbon, but then we're also going to take our wire cutters and we're going to cut the tail off. Oh, don't forget to use far to melt your ends, because that way it won't fray if the ribbon so allows. And here you'll see I tacked these down with glue. This is their new home. I don't want them to ever leave. Now, there, I just chopped off the bottom end of that long zip tie. And now we're going to make the meaty part of our bow. Because the tails are the potatoes. We'll say the meat and potatoes, right? I can turn anything into a food reference, guys. I'm a fluffy girl. I like food. So anyways, so the meaty part of our bow, we're just going to take a piece that will look nice, kind of measure it with your eyes if you want. We're going to tack it in the middle with some glue. So I'm going to fold it over on itself, tack it in the middle with some glue. I'm going to take a piece of jute twine, because that's just what I had near me. You could do another zip tie if you want. It's no biggie. Just find a way to secure it in the middle. And then here I'm cutting another piece of grosgrain. You put that off to the side. I'll show you what we're going to do with it next. So I'm pinching the loop that we made in the middle. I'm just going to tie this with the jute twine. Literally, I just did like a double knot. At one point I had to retie it, so you'll see a little cut, but I did a double knot. Once you get your jute tied, your jute tied on there, and you got your, you got your bow looking as normal and as even as you possibly can. I'm going to cut those we're going to cut those tails off there, and we're going to set that off to the side. But look how cute. Now we have a cute little classic bow. And of course, I can't help but not try to like open up the loops. So that extra piece we cut, we're going to use it to cover the middle, because we want this to look like a little fabric bow that's been like I call it like the little girl, like on the back of a little girl's dress. I love those bows, the big fluffy bows. So I'm going to cut the piece of grosgrain, the extra piece. We're going to fold in the edges on itself. So we're going to make like a little strip here. And we're going to use this to cover the center of the loop that we made for our bow. Now I twisted this. I did make it. It's a little bit too long per se. Yeah, we ended up cutting some off. But you can twist this around as many times as you like to where you get to a thickness that is, proper. So it makes your eyes and your heart happy. You know what I'm saying? Stop when you know it looks decent. When it gets to be a little bit too bulky, stop and cut off the rest. So I started to glue it down and kind of just roll it on itself. Paying attention to making sure this at the front of the bow when I'm looking at it. So that's the front of my bow. And I did wrap it around one more time after this. And then on the back here, I just did halfway through and then cut off the excess. And then I did put a little bit more glue in this because I really a little loop there. That's going to get glued down. So again, 50-50 hindsight, right? Didn't need to do this, but it's just for my own, I'd say S and giggles. Look how cute it is. It's like a little hair bow. That's what it is. Not like a little girl dress bow or a hair bow. It's like a perfect little hair bow. So cute. And now I'm going to take this and secure it to the top of where we put the zip tie on our little cinched portion here. So it looks like a bundled little, I love it. The little bundled carrot. And the color of this ribbon was almost made for it. It's like the perfect orangey color, springy. I mean, again, this would look good in your kitchen year round, It doesn't have to only be for Easter or spring because bunnies like carrots and Easter means bunnies and carrots and eggs. But again, this would be cute in the kitchen or like a pantry door or something like that. Now, I did get some Spanish moss out because that bow does stick up. The meaty part does stick up kind of high, and I'll show you in a second. So what I want to do is I need to hide either the behind the scenes. Technically, you can see some of the zip tie if you were to really bend down and look up underneath it. But the main part was for the top of it, and I'm going to show you that in a second. So I put my glue in here, and I tap in some Spanish moss just in the middle. Now, you see right here, this is what I'm trying to hide. I didn't really like that showing so much. So I'm just tapping a tiny amount of Spanish moss in there. You can skip this. Or also you could use reindeer moss. Reindeer moss is that bright green stuff and it doesn't shed. This stuff sheds, but look how cute it is. It's very farmhouse, very country, cottagey. I love it. I love it. And again, these things make me so happy. I want to squeeze them. I want to hug them. Is it weird to want to hug your crafts? I want to hug my decor. The carrots are just cute. It's like when you see something that's so cute, you're like, why are you so cute? Why do I feel the need? I need to hug you. That's how it is with me at pumpkins, except for I understand the need for pumpkins because pumpkins are just adorable and there's just no way I'm not going to hold them and touch them and take them home with me. But tell me what you think about the carrot bundles. I think they're really cute. And again, you could leave these in a kitchen year round, like in the dining room area. There's nothing that says this has to be for spring, but look how cute and happy it is. It's so cute. Oh, well, that's it for today's video, guys. Just the two. Now I have one more. My part 4 does have, let's see, I still have it sitting here. 1, 2, 3, but 3 of them have 2 parts to each of it. So there's going to be more in our last video upcoming. But tell me what you think about what we did today. The little buttons right there on those carrots. I love, and again, the thickness for me makes a difference. Would you have used 3 of them, or would you have only used just the one that it comes in? Just you tell me what you would have done with that thickness. But in any event, this is what we did. Tell me what you think. I love them. I'm so happy. Now, again, back to my coffee page. If you like my videos or you feel like you've learned something, you can always drop a donation of any dollar amount there. And again, you can also take a peek at my DIYs that I have for sale. And with all that being said, again, it's never, let me go back. Always appreciated, never required. I love you guys more than I could possibly say in words. You are my fuel, and I appreciate every single one of you joining me here every single time. Many hugs, happy crafting, and I'll see you in the next video. Part 4 is coming shortly. Bye-bye for now.